Where do people keep guns? Look up how to check if a gun is unloaded. If your dad is responsible, they should all be unloaded, but that may not be the case. As you said, do not touch the trigger or get anywhere near it. When I was suicidal, I had a friend hang on to my knives and such for a while. If you have any relatives or friends that can do that for you, that be best if you can. The safest place to keep them is a gun safe. So if you can change the code, dumping them all in there is also an option. What the cops would have done with his gun to find them, you'll need to ask him or comb through the house yourself. Bring a friend. Good luck. This kind of thing is always hard. This isn't on you. Clearly, no matter what you do, he has the ability to get access to another gun, and you will not be to blame if he does. Try to see if you can talk to his doctor or hospital staff about discharge planning. They need to know what kind of environment he's returning to, and perhaps can help him make better decisions on how to handle his distress. As someone who once cleaned out the home of a self-professed gun nut after he passed, they can be basically anywhere. We found guns under the beds, mounted under his desk, in bookshelves, in drawers, behind furniture, on top of cabinets. The only ones that weren't loaded were in his safe. Basically, you're going to need to scour the house looking for them and just hope you find them all. As for interacting with the guns you find, keep your fingers away from the trigger and keep the angry end pointed away from anyone or anything you're not willing to see a hole in. If you're willing to, you can see on YouTube how to remove magazines and verify the chambers are clear, though it's better if you take along someone more comfortable with guns with you to help. And for storage, depending on where you are, there are some gun ranges that have storage lockers you can rent. You can try reaching out to them and explaining what's going on and seeing if they can store them for you temporarily. If not, then it's back to hoping someone else who is into guns and willing to give you some space for them. I'm sorry you're going through this and wish I could offer more help. I wish you all the best on getting through this and hope your father gets the help he needs as well. The obvious places will be under the bed, in the nightstand, in an end table, under the sofa, etc. Basically easy to access. Less obvious places I've seen people store firearms have included the top of the fridge, in the bathroom cabinet, in behind the toilet tank, in a closet, maybe on a shelf in a box. Serious gun nuts have or build secret compartments in decorative shelves, headboards, and other furniture. You can look online to see examples. Also, take out any ammunition you find. As for securing the firearms, you may need to call in reinforcements. There are ways to safely, reversibly, disable them. Or there may be a relative or one of his close friends who can take them for a while. Is it possible to physically chain up the safe? Like wrap it with a large chain so the door can't be opened and put a good lock on it? Assume every gun is loaded with the safety off. Always point away from you and anything else, and don't touch the trigger until the gun been cleared, including the chamber. You've got this. Plenty of resources online about safe gun handling. Read and watch those first. A lot of this will be different if your dad is willing to help you separate him from his guns. As for where to put the guns, ideally change the code on the safe and use that way you don't have immediate access, and neither does your dad. As for finding all the guns in his house, check the obvious places first, under the bed, in the closet, nightstand drawer. Then check places one could be hidden for easy access, like cabinets, attached to the underside of tables, etc. Again, it'll go a lot easier if your dad is cooperative. And if your dad isn't cooperative, then there's really not much you can do. He very likely will be able to buy another gun if he wants. Or just choose a different method. Short of locking him in a padded cell, there's no way you can prevent him from taking his own life. The police will probably hold his gun until a responsible party can claim it. Your dad might have to approve that because they might not release it to anyone but the owner. Call and ask. I'm not sure where you are, but I found this HTTPS. Maybe there is something similar near you. You need to take the corpsman's advice and help get all the arms out of the place with professionals using sniffing dogs or detectors, etc. You mentioned there's likely hidden ones. If your father isn't in the right state, you can't trust if he gives up all his spots or the safe doesn't have a secondary bypass method. My father was a real hard ass. Half the police department showed up the first time he tried to opt out of life. I was 4. Watched from the window of the house. He never went into it much. Kids don't need to know that shit. All my hugs to you. The police went over our home with my mother's permission when she came home. They cleared out a holdout that everyone had forgotten about. My father was with us for a couple decades before he went tried again. I got 20 years extra to know him because they found the other firearm. No regrets there. You can't get your father back. Forget the guns. In addition to the other advice people are giving you, you need to check your state laws on firearms transfer to make sure that you aren't taking possession of the guns in an illegal way. It can be very easy to accidentally run afoul of gun laws, especially if you aren't used to them. You may also talk to local gun shops about safe, secure storage. Hopefully your dad is in a place where you can ask him these questions. Knowing you are worried and care will help. Don't beat around the bush, be straight up. Call your local firing range? Maybe someone could help. Gun stores will often hold on to guns for people who need safe storage. You could also ask them if there is an employee available and willing to help you go through your dad's home and secure all the guns. Alternatively, you can call veteran organizations to ask if they have anyone available to help. Did you know there's a specific suicide and crisis hotline for veterans? Here's the link to their site, but you can dial 988 from any phone in the United States to connect to them https. As long as you don't have anything of questionable legality in the home, you may be able to get the local PD to assist. They may even have storage ideas. Is there a way to call local police and have them help you do a sweep plus also help you figure out where to store them? I'm pretty familiar with guns. If you wanna DM me, I'd be happy to walk you through how to safely handle anything he's got. Aside from that, you'll have to search his house. Any convenient hidey hole or safe spot he might have stuck a weapon. When you have them in your possession, you have to either safely store them in your home or leave them with a trusted friend or relative if you don't feel comfortable with them. You always treat a gun as if it's loaded. Always. You don't point it at anything you don't intend to shoot. I like the other recommendations of reaching out to the local veterans. Contact your local law enforcement agency. Explain the situation to them and that you need the firearms to be removed and secured somewhere. They can send someone to take and secure the firearms. If they can't or want, then ask them to recommend a firearms instructor or gunsmith that would be willing to help. Many hugs, and I am so sorry you are going through this. Wishing you and your family healing thoughts and prayers. Also check with Veterans Affairs to get your dad some counseling. An alternative to relocating the guns is disabling them. This will take time and research for each one, so you may want him out of the house for a while. Unload them before handling. For bolt actions, you can remove the bolt quick and easy. For modern handguns, you can remove the slide lock, etc. Put each one in its own Ziploc bag with a note about which firearm it belongs to. You'll regret not doing this. Handle with nitrile gloves to avoid lead exposure. Transfer all to a larger container and take that with you. This attempt on his life may have resulted in a revocation of the right to purchase new firearms, possibly for a period of 5 years, depending on the state. As for the safe, all locks can be defeated. This will likely require a lock-picking set appropriate for the type of lock you're dealing with. Best of luck managing this incident. If you can't get the code to the safe and the locksmith want help without paperwork, you may be able to wrap the safe with chains and padlocks to prevent opening. As for other locations, they often want to have the gun conveniently located. My suggestions based on family experience. Around preferred chairs of their end of the sofa, don't forget down in the cushions, side tables by chairs and beds, in the kitchen, near doors leading outside, top drawer of desk or workbench, under or behind the bed. I'm going to suggest contacting a local VA office or even seeing if there are any veteran groups by you that may have a member willing to help you safely secure the guns. If no veterans you can try a gun range and see if someone there may be able to help. I'm sorry you are having to deal with all of this.